If I get a disease and I'm gonna die, how about I get Skip Bayless in here and I kill him live on national television?
You go,
Oh, so
okay?
are you going to give me the ultimate insult? Call me that guy?
You gonna
Say something. If I could get Skip Bayless in a room,
And there we
they
go.
need DNA to define who it was when I got through with it.
It's pretty easy to dislike a sports analyst. They give their hot takes and opinions on sports all day on TV and social media. And in their hundreds of minutes that their opinions are broadcasted daily, they are bound to say things that are not only incorrect, but things that will upset players and fans. There's also some sports analysts that are more disliked than others, and arguably the most disliked of them all is Skip Bayless. Bayless got his start in sports media nearly 50 years ago, writing for various newspapers before moving to radio, and then finally entering the television space in 1989, slowly rising up the ranks until he got his own show. Bayless is known for being extremely stubborn and ruthless about his positions, which can be most exemplified for his dislike towards everything LeBron James does. Skip Bayless is on one half of the beef for this video, and on the other side is Charles Barkley, an NBA Hall of Famer and possibly the best NBA player to never win a championship. Barkley was also known for being a bit of a hothead in the NBA. Aside from his successful NBA career, Barkley is also an NBA analyst, joining TNT in the year 2000, where he's been ever since. Barkley is known for saying what's on his mind and not backing down, which has also upset many basketball fans and players over the years. So what I ask you is, what happens when two guys get in each other's paths that speak their mind ruthlessly and refuse to back down on their positions? What you get is a pretty epic beef, and that's exactly what the Charles Barkley vs. Skip Bayless beef is. The first public expression of this beef began back in the year 2005, when Barkley said, "There's only two people I want to kill, Skip Bayless and Jay Mariotti. Everybody else, I respect their opinions." Barkley also stated that he didn't like how Bayless chose to be, quote, evil every single day when he was talking on TV, because Barkley believes that since Bayless is on TV, his voice is a powerful tool, and people who watch Bayless will legitimately believe what he says. This was a very intense and shocking statement from Barkley, saying that he would kill Skip Bayless, as anytime someone threatens to murder another person, it's not something that should be taken lightly, especially since Barkley actually doesn't like Bayless. It's a bit concerning. There's no record of Bayless responding to that initial statement from Barkley in 2005, but a couple years later, in about 2008, Bayless wrote an absolutely savage article about Charles Barkley's consideration of running for governor in his home state of Alabama. In that article, Bayless said, "Let's say some unknown but wealthy white guy with absolutely no experience in politics called the Birmingham News and announced he was running for governor of Alabama. Let's say he publicly admitted he has a gambling problem and that I am not a role model. Let's say it was no secret he hasn't always been the best husband. And let's say he once threw somebody through a plate glass window in a bar. Charles Barkley is once again talking dead seriously about running for governor of his home state of Alabama in 2010. He is also as described above, except that he's African American and famous for playing basketball and making hilariously outrageous statements, especially as a clown prince of TNT's Inside the NBA. Bayless then went on to say that Barkley would probably win the Alabama governor race, seemingly insulting the citizens of Alabama while also going through every single major flaw of Charles Barkley's professional career and personal life. Bayless went in deep on Barkley, saying some rather inappropriate things in the article as well. With this article, I think Bayless was trying to get back at Barkley's comments a few years earlier that he wanted to kill Bayless. And Bayless probably had a list of every questionable thing that Barkley has done in order to use it against him at the wrong time and make an article against him. And this is exactly what Skip Bayless seemed to do in that article in 2008. It doesn't seem like Barkley publicly replied to Bayless's comments, and it wasn't until 2011 when this beef rose back to prominence, when Charles Barkley was on the Dan Patrick Show. Barkley pretty much said the same thing that he had 6 years earlier, saying, "Hey Dan, I've been watching your show. you're doing a good job, and I want to tell you the best thing you ever did. You know, because I hate Skip Bayless more than any person in the world. Thank you for giving me an alternative so I don't have to watch Skip Bayless in the morning. I will always be indebted to you, so I don't have to watch that a-hole Skip Bayless. Bayless heard this rant by Charles Barkley and simply tweeted out, "To Charles Barkley, my favorite proverb is 23:9. And that proverb reads, 'Do not speak to a fool, for he will scorn the wisdom of your words.'" So this was a bit of an interesting interaction between the pair, and I think it shows their dislike for each other and the fact that each of them thinks the other isn't very smart. Barkley didn't end up responding to the tweet from Bayless. However, a few years later in 2013, he made another statement about Bayless on a show inside the NBA, saying, "If I could get Skip Bayless in a room, you need DNA to find out who he was." This was another statement about wanting to murder Skip Bayless, which again is a pretty harsh thing to say, but that's not the end of Barkley's murderous words towards Bayless. While appearing once again on the Dan Patrick Show in 2017, Barkley went into a bit more detail about his fantasies of killing Bayless. He said, "You know what we should do for ratings? If I get a disease and I'm gonna die, how about you get Skip Bayless in here and I'll kill him live on national television? Only when I know I'm a die, because I just want to get Skip Bayless in a room one time and just beat him like a dog." Patrick then said, "So you'd kill him?" And Barkley said, "Yes, only if I knew I was going to die, not if I'm going to live, because I don't want to go to prison." I think this tops the list of crazy things that Barkley has said about Bayless, and it's at least the third time on television that he's talked about killing Skip Bayless. And interestingly enough, Bayless did not respond to any of the times Barkley talked about murdering him. I guess because there's not really much to say in those circumstances. It's an interesting situation nonetheless, because I'm not sure Barkley could get away with saying those things about any other person in the world, as even though he's saying it in a non-serious manner, Skip Bayless is still someone he admittedly does not like. The beef didn't end there though, as during the 2019-2020 NBA season, Skip Bayless was doubting the ability of Damian Lillard, to which Charles Barkley later took shots at Bayless for doing after the Blazers won a game against the Lakers in the playoffs. Barkley said, "Take that, Skip Bayless. I hope y'all heard me." Then, when Bayless next appeared on his own show, he stated, "I would like to congratulate Charles Barkley for finally getting a prediction right. You know what? If you make enough goofy predictions, the odds are that you're eventually going to get one right. Charles has predicted that Portland would win Game 1, and now he has quadrupled down that Portland will sweep your Los Angeles Lakers. And I say you better gloat while you can, Nostrachukis, because it ain't gonna last much longer." Looking back, that was the only game that Portland won in the series, and Barkley was completely wrong because the Lakers then went on to win 4 games in a row, and then the NBA title. The most recent part of this beef occurred in December of 2021, when Skip Bayless was already having a tough week because Kevin Durant, the player he says is the greatest in the world, stated that he doesn't like Bayless. Barkley then decided to add on to the hate, saying, "Everybody knows I hate Skip Bayless, because I think he's the king of, I'm just gonna say stuff so people will go crazy on me." It's pretty clear that Bayless and Barkley have a pretty strong dislike for each other, to put it lightly, and I don't think this beef will ever go away. I think what's needed for these two to solve their beef is for a sit down to discuss their differences. Now, although I don't think this would work, it would be one of the most entertaining things to watch on television. I honestly don't think there's been harsher words said between two people in the sports entertainment world, especially the words about Barkley wanting to kill Skip Bayless. And even what Bayless has said about Barkley has been harsh as well, just not as dark and illegal. Do you think the beef between Skip Bayless and Charles Barkley has gone too far? Would you like to see them sit down and talk about their differences? Let me know what you think in the comments section, and remember to like this video and subscribe to the channel to show your support. Thanks for watching.